And we are back. Recently, a significant decision was made to halt the advancement of the New York Heat Act, a move that was applauded by a coalition of businesses as well as labor groups. Now, in a state that heavily relies on natural gas for heating homes and powering communities, finding a balanced approach to energy policy, crucial. As New York aims to lead in clean energy, the challenge remains to ensure reliability and affordability for all of its residents, especially the most vulnerable. Joining me now is the Executive Director of New Yorkers for Affordable Energy, Daniel Ortega. And Daniel, thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you very much for having me.
A conversation that we do need to have, right? How do we get to the place of having affordable energy? Certainly on the legislative end, some setbacks, but the reality is that it's very plausible.
It is possible, and our coalition strongly believes that natural gas should be playing an important role on achieving all of those goals. And natural gas powers anywhere between 25 to 50% of the energy that the state needs in a day, in a very, very hot day like today, or very, very cold days in the middle of the winter.
Right.
You know, the policies that need to be taken into consideration cannot be either or. All of these things have to be done hand in hand. We have to work together to make sure that while we maintain affordability and reliability for everybody in the state of New York, we're also achieving the goals that we need to achieve in order to make sure that we have safer, better sources of energy overall. I think that Albany needs to make sure that those efforts don't clash against each other and that we continue working together to achieve what is achievable without breaking the bank.
Yeah.
You know, these are very good goals, but at the same time, they're very expensive goals, and we need to make sure that particularly people here in the Bronx are not getting the brunt of it, are not paying for the things that we're trying to achieve.
Let's talk a little bit about where we are legislatively. We talk about the New York Heat Act's, stall progress here, right? Where are we?
Well, the legislature left Albany. The Senate passed the bill as it has been proposed, but there was no movement from the Assembly to move the bill forward. There are many members at the legislative, in the Assembly side that have serious concerns about the affordability, the reliability, and the overreach of government in terms of where energy will come to supply the power to New Yorkers. And we have spoken to many legislators and we have echoed many of their concerns about that. And a lot of the people who have serious concerns about this are not just suburban lawmakers. You have lawmakers from urban centers up in Buffalo, the Buffalo area, the center, urban centers in the middle of the state, and here in New York City, where people have serious concerns of where is the energy coming from and how much more money are we going to be paying for it.
Right. Cost is a factor, right? And I think that's what a lot of people are talking about. We're talking about the fact that already we know you go at Con Ed, National Grid, people are saying, listen, the prices are ridiculous. How's this going to really play out? What's this going to look like?
Well, the prices are already going up, and part of it is because we don't have enough supply of natural gas coming into the region in a way that, it's basics economics of supply and demand. And the demand continues to increase. We are much more reliable in energy nowadays than ever before in our lives. We all have multiple electronics at home that need power to operate. But at the same time, we're not looking for ways to make sure that the energy sources are cheap in a way that make it affordable for everybody. And this is, without counting into inflation and all of the other things that are pounding day to day and impacting residents every day, like food costs and everything else. And when energy prices go up, everything goes up. For someone to have the ability to deliver eggs to your grocery store down the street, for the bodega to get all those breads, someone needs to drive there, someone needs to produce that. And if the cost to produce, the cost to deliver that increases because the cost of energy is greater, that is going to be reflected on your bill at the end of the day. So one of the things that we have been trying to put into the minds of our legislators up in Albany is when we're talking about energy, energy is complex, multi-layer. a very complicated type of policy. And when you make a significant change on one little thing in that policy, it's going to have significant consequences, and many times it's, you know, consequences that we don't think of when we're drafting the legislation. And we need to be conscientious that there's a lot of people who are not being able to afford the energy prices just because we have made it that much more unattainable.
How do you see the future of energy legislation here in the state? I mean, obviously it's an uphill battle, but how do you see it playing out?
I think that we have come a long way. I think that legislators have started to realize that we have to have a much better understanding of the issue, that these things are not happening in a vacuum, and that they have great consequences to everyday people, particularly in the pocketbooks. And we need to make sure that legislators know and understand that these things have to be thought out in a comprehensive manner, and that we need to include everybody in the process, from community organizations that deal with people that are struggling to pay their bills, to large industries that use lots of amount of energy. And as we move forward with more renewables, as we should, and we move forward with different other industries to facilitate our lives, we also need to think about what are the long-term consequences and needs for those industries to be here. And you know, what are the things that we rely on, and how we're going to change the mindset of people so that we all are working together for a better long-term, prosperous, sustainable, affordable energy policy.
Yeah, you spoke of renewable energy a little while ago. I just want to get a sense from you as what do you see as the potential challenges there when it comes to renewable energy?
I think the biggest thing right now is cost. Everybody in the industry that deals with renewable energy knows that this is a very expensive proposal. And ultimately, it's going to be the ratepayers who are going to end up paying for it. And whether it's through subsidies or whether it's through partnership between the private sector and the public sector, we need to find ways to make sure that we are putting enough renewable energy into the grid as it's needed, but we're doing it in a way that it's available to all. There are some countries that have been able to achieve some of these goals, but they also have achieved the goals by relying on natural gas to make sure that there is a backup, to make sure that that the affordability and the reliability is there. Like I said before, and it's something that I always tell people: energy is complicated, and getting it right, it's difficult. I think that what we need to do is we need to find ways to make sure that renewable energy, it's there and it's available. And we're finding ways to make sure that is reliable. And that is the key. The biggest key is the reliability.
Right.
You don't want to come home to a very hot or a very cold apartment. You want, and one of the things that we tell people is we do not think about energy until we need it.
Right.
You don't think about gas until you turn on your vehicle. You don't think about, where the power comes from until it's 90 degrees or 32, in any given day. So we need to make sure that, the people continues to have that reliability no matter where the energy source is.
You lead into my next question, which is about awareness, right? How aware are people when it comes to the issue of this? Because, as you said, sometimes people aren't aware until the bill comes. I see this humongous bill. I see things becoming unaffordable. How am I managing this? Talk to me about public awareness and where you think the public is in the area of awareness right now.
Everybody knows and understands that there needs to be long-term solutions. That's as far as the awareness is concerned. Our organizations and many other organizations have done polling, and look, 90% of the population is in favor of good, clean energy. But the moment that you start telling people what the cause of this is, what are the lack of reliability of some of these things, then people start pushing back. I think that a lot of it in terms of awareness of legislation, it's the level of awareness that you have and the level of understanding that you have with these things. I encourage people to look more about it, to talk to their elected officials about the things that they're doing, and to try to find better solutions with them as to what are the things that are impacting them. And what are the things that you want to see? Do you want to see more solar panels in your neighborhood? Do you want to see more reliability on different other forms of energy? You know, the state is doing a lot of good things to move things forward, but we need to make sure that the public and the elected officials, you know, talk to their residents and let them know what are the things that are available so that we can do a better job.
Yeah, Daniel, great conversation. We're going to continue to follow this as we go along here.
Happy to come back anytime, talk some more.
Got to have you back. Daniel Ortega, who's the Executive Director of New Yorkers for Affordable Energy. Now, if you want more information, please visit the website at newyork4affordableenergy.com and then follow them on Facebook at New Yorkers for Affordable Energy. We encourage you don't go anywhere. We got more open coming up right after this.